Pulp MX Network production.
Bringing you a cheeky Brit and an American YouTube racing sensation weekly. It's the LVK More Than Moto podcast with your hosts, Lewis Phillips and Kellen Brower.
Welcome back, everybody, to another LIAT LVK More Than Moto podcast. I'm Kellen Brower, joined by Lewis Phillips, and we are done with AMA Pro Motocross in 2025. Budds Creek has gone on the weekend, and what was supposed to be a rather uneventful weekend, championship pretty much about to be clinched, and one that was already clinched, turned into be a rather story-filled weekend with a lot of drama both on and off the racetrack. And you and I both were there this weekend, Big Lou. Lots of fun chats and other things throughout the pits. But how did you like Budds Creek in 2025 for a finale, first off?
I love Budds Creek. It's my favorite outdoor. Dare I say by far. The panoramic view, just the vibe there hits me a little different to any other outdoor. And I don't really know why. It's got that magical mystique that you can't quite put your finger on. Or maybe this is all a result of me going into Budds Creek in a great mood because I had a Nando's on Thursday night, which is only available in Washington, D.C. in America. And who knows why? No one does. But that was a fucking standout and bloody glorious, I have to say.
I did appreciate, though, that there was people from the UK who tweeted back to you at that saying, "Oh, come on, mate, you know that's rubbish food." But then your reply was, "It's been a year," or something like that. I'm looking for any sort of home feel.
Nando's is somewhat overrated, but it is good. Like at its core, it is good. And this American version, well, it's Nando's, but it literally tasted identical. The chicken was exactly the same. Like, I reckon if you did a blind taste test, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between UK plate and American plate. So I was happy. Oh, I just regret not doing it more, Kellen. And I regret not living in Washington, D.C. because I would be there regularly.
Well, you did say this, though, that, you know, Budds is what, your favorite national of the year, you would say? Okay, so do you never take into account to, when you rate this, how the track actually races? Because I would say it's borderline the worst for racing.
Yeah, it's not my problem.
Okay. Like, it needs a lot of changes to make it better, because it was, I mean, guys are having a lot of struggles making passes. If you were even close on pace, it was tough to set things up, and people complained again about the prep this week. So what are you going to do, I guess? But yeah, I mean, it's a cool facility. I don't like that it's pretty far away from the airport. And then
no, it's not. It's nowhere near the worst, though.
No, it's not the worst.
Regard.
It's not the worst in that regard, for sure. But I mean, it's not close. And then there's nothing out there. The closest hotels that we were staying at were 20, 30 minutes away. So, like, even from that standpoint, it's not great. And then, yeah, the track is not the best for racing. So,
okay, well, negative Nancy over there.
No, I'm just
allow me to show you Exhibit A of this clip from Budds Creek in 2007 when Josh Grant, Ryan Dungey, and Jason Lawrence had a fantastic freeway battle.
Yeah, but the track was a little different back then.
Yes, I remember it like it was yesterday.
No, it was a good race back then, but even then, you can recall in that race that, like, the way they were passing each other was pushing and shoving. It wasn't like these awesome inside-out type of passes.
Okay, Kellen, we hate Budds Creek.
No, I'm just trying to. I don't agree with your take, is what I'm saying.
My podium in some order would be Budds, Millville, Redbud.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would say Millville's one, but
Millville could be one. I don't know. Budds Creek it does. I don't know. The panoramic view really does it for me. Maybe it's because I rode there. Maybe it's because I can appreciate it a little bit more.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe we need to get the Martins to invite you to Millville so you can fully compare.
Yeah, it'd be great for me to die off of Mount Martin. That would be amazing.
They don't ever do that. They don't ever do that other than on race day. So you're good.
Someone explained to me why I hated Budds Creek when I rode it. I didn't hate Budds Creek. That was an exaggeration. Someone told me why it wouldn't have been ideal for Lewis, average rider Lewis. They said for media intros, they prep it like really, really well, like rip it super deep and everything, like national prep almost. And they were like, yeah, that wouldn't have been good for you. And I was like, well, maybe not. I don't remember it because I've blocked it from my mind, but hey.
All right, good to know. But you had a good weekend. Otherwise, no heat stroke. It wasn't very hot. You made it through all the nationals without ever really suffering like a catastrophic heat stroke, other than when you basically died earlier this year. So
yeah, I mean, I was in ICU, but let's just ignore that. Although I do have a topic on that at the end. Not a topic, a point.
I don't consider what happened to you related to the races.
No,
though.
it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
So
but it is a must be considered.
Must be considered.
No, the heat thing was overplayed. It's just a running gag. It was all right. Budds Creek was a long fucking day. I was bored. Not bored. I was over it. I was over it.
Really
it was
day.
a long day.
We had 3 red flags, 1 in qualifying, 2 in the races. The WMX moto still went off. What was weird about the first red flag for the first 250 moto, I had heard down on the racetrack that the WMX moto was going to be pushed to the end of the day because they were trying to still fit in that NBC window.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised when I was walking back from the podium after 250 Moto 1 when D's clinched that the WMX girls were lining up. So I don't know. But then it just pushed everything back. I mean, we didn't even finish racing till after 6, I think. Right? So it was a long day.
It was a long day. A lot of gate drops.
Yeah, a lot of gate drops. But yeah, season's done. So let's jump into the show, shall we? Liat, Racetech, Nomura, and Partzilla back this show, and we appreciate them for their support, and we hope that you guys will head over to their respective websites and support them for supporting us. We'll tell you more about them as we go out through this show. All right, so as per usual, 3 topics for me, 3 topics for Big Lou. And my first topic of the day is basically this. We saw how much drama unfolded after the race with... obviously Tom Vial goes to Instagram to explain why he did not start the second moto. Jorge Prado's social media post talking about how he never felt comfortable all season long, not even a little bit. The bike was, I don't think he used the word dangerous, but unsafe or something along those lines, and rode into a cruising pace because of that. And then obviously Chase Sexton took to Twitter to respond to a fan who had basically said KTM is establishing themselves as a team of quitters. And then Chase said, you don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. So all of this created a lot of drama the last 2 days on social media. Basically, this topic is about whether or not this is becoming like a more fundamental failure across some teams with relationships between their riders and their teams and a communication standpoint. Because I feel like we're seeing more of this, like, I don't know, like disconnect between what the team managers are expecting for their riders versus what ends up happening. And then, I mean, with Cowie all year with Prado, of course, we've seen 2 entirely different stories. But even KTM now, you saw earlier in this year where Ian Harrison told you Chase is coming back for Southwick. Then Chase replies to your tweet and says that's not true. Like, there just seems to be a stark lack of good communication going on within these teams. And maybe it's just those 2 specifically, but this seems like a bit of a problem, no?
Yes, well, I think this calls back upon a point that we made previously. I think it's time for publicists to enter the sport in one way or another, because that's essentially what would help even the playing field with this a little bit and get everyone on the same page, or at least stop misinformation. I also think this is a byproduct of the sport evolving to the point where it's almost becoming a real sport. And perhaps the paddock isn't quite fit to handle that. So now we're seeing some cracks. Because what you saw from Tom and Jorge and whatnot is actually no different to what you see in any other sport. It's just presented differently because they're more equipped to do that. So I think that the sport is almost being forced to grow up at a rate that it's maybe not ready for. Because my point with it is this. I feel bad for Tom because I don't believe that Tom deserves to be in the same category as Jorge. I wholeheartedly do not, because Tom was an isolated incident. As he put on Instagram, he had an apparent issue that he could point to, whereas Jorge was more of a general thing. But Tom's getting slammed into this category partially because of the KTM PR, where Ian Harrison effectively said that he felt uncomfortable. Was it? What was the? I can't remember what the wording was now.
Go ahead and keep talking. I'll look at the wording.
But my point being, and full credit to Ian Harrison as well, because that's what we want. He came out and said something tangible. 9 times out of 10, we would end up in a scenario right now where on the Tuesday after Budds Creek, we still have no idea where Tom Vial went and whether he's injured and whether he's fired and whatever else. But where Tom lost in this is he took too long to put his side out. So Ian got first play, which meant that, right or wrong, the KTM side dominated headlines and almost made Tom look somewhat bad. If Tom could have got on Instagram 2 hours after he left for track, or done an interview before he left, or, pleaded his case a little bit, the narrative would have gone a completely different direction. It effectively comes down to how you communicate and how quickly you communicate. And that's, I think, a thought process that will start to enter some minds now.
Yeah, I think so, for sure. To what you just said about what Ian Harrison said, he said in the PR, Tom pulled 2 fantastic starts in Moto 1 after the first race was red flagged and was running out front before he made a mistake and fell down. From there, as the Moto went on, he seemed to lose pace. Then he talks about Julian. After the race, Julian requested a couple bike changes, and then Tom decided he would sit out race 2 after lacking confidence in his setup. So he called it a day. So there you go, just lacked confidence. But
it's not, and that technically isn't wrong. It's just worded in a way that could make someone look negatively upon Tom.
And specifically, Tom even clarified in his story that it is a shock issue. They were losing, whatever it was in the shock that compounded throughout the moto. And by the end of the moto, it was really bad. And they've been having this problem. He says they think it's going to be fixed for SMX, but I can respect Tom's decision here because there wasn't anything on the line at that point. And he basically said that if he doesn't feel comfortable on the bike, he doesn't want to go out there and do damage or get hurt or whatever, which is exactly what Prado's saying. But Prado's saying it every week, where Tom is finally now just saying it at the final round.
And Tom is pointing to a very specific failure, whereas Jorge is just generally saying, I'm not happy with the bike. I think that is a crucial difference as well.
What I will say about these 3 situations specifically, the chase, clapping back now twice on Twitter, Tom obviously with this, and Jorge. Is it maybe also just because these are 3 guys that are not going to be on those teams next year, so they kind of have a NFG attitude about making their own teams look good, I guess? Like, if there was supposed to be some sort of salvageable relationship in the future, if you're Chase, you don't want to basically make Ian look stupid on Twitter, which is what he did. And if you're Tom, you don't want to ruffle the feathers of KTM to some degree. And if you're Prado, you don't want to keep pissing off the team because you're supposed to make things better with them. But because none of that's going to happen next year, likely, they don't care, right?
Maybe to a degree, but they're still in their contracts, so they can still be fined. They still have to go to work with these people, etc., etc. So I think there could be some of that, but I don't think it's necessarily led by that fact.
I'm not saying it's led by that, but I think it gives them a little bit more, I guess, credence to want to say what they really feel instead of minding the manners of the team and the team personnel, because it's not going to be a long-standing relationship.
Yeah, I can agree with that way of phrasing it. I don't know. I just think, and I've actually said this to Chase. Like, there is some now at this point with Chase, with the Lawrences, with Deegan, there is a justifiable reason to have someone running your media, not from a social media standpoint, but from a publicist standpoint, putting out your own PR, putting out your own messaging, coordinating interviews with a narrative. Like, there is credence to having someone manage that sort of angle. I really do believe it with those riders. Making sure that you're going to do an interview with X, Y, and Z, but not them. You're only talking to these people today. Hey, Kellen, Chase will be over in 5 minutes. Did you know that this weekend it's Chase's blah, blah, blah? Talk about that. I think there is some cause for that. And in the Tom instance, hey, Tom, before you go, pick a journalist. Who do you like? You should go and do an interview with just one of those quickly. I'll brief them on what's going on so they know and they're not asking questions like, well, what? Explain? 2 questions. I'll brief them on what's going on, and we just get our message out there, and then you can leave, and that's all handled. You know, I think there is some sort of value in that.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm with you 100% that the agents and teams and really everybody in the sport has never really used the media the way they could or should, especially not if you compare it to other major sports. Just from the standpoint alone of like, you know, team contracts and everything like that of what goes on behind the scenes. I mean, literally every other sport is the agents are constantly talking to the media to try to push more value of their athlete. But that never happens here. Like we don't have ex-agent calling us saying like, hey, this guy's talking to this guy and this guy and this guy. You should talk about that so that they kind of start sparring with each other. Should happen, never does. But I mean, it's just the reality of the sport we're in that those guys, it's too kind of like a lowball idea to hire a publicist because it hasn't happened since basically Carmichael McGrath. So
like, I guess in a way you would go, like for some reason Chase was being lumped in with Tom and Jorge at the weekend, even though he's not even racing. So perhaps in that instance you would go, hey Chase, this is going on. Pick someone. Let's just do an interview and get you out there and like tell everyone how excited you are for the nations. Let's just drum up some interest in you and some positivity again. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I will say this as far as using media, there is one rider, allegedly, who has said to me, like, I can't go public with this and I can't speak about this, but I want you, like, this is my message. Get it out there, but it can't come from me. Mm-hmm. But this is what I need out there, but I can't be attached. Like, I guess that's kind of the way it works in real sports to a degree.
Yeah, but not from the athlete. No, rarely from the athlete. Like, yes, there are some circumstances, but again, that is where in other sports, this is where an agent or a publicist, as you would say, would step in and try to kind of help steer not only the media in the right direction of what the trail is, because like, you know, even from the standpoint of right now, we all kind of have an idea of like, okay, so yes, Sexton's going to sign here and maybe Prado's going to go here and Jason Anderson's supposed to go to, you know, maybe HEP and all this stuff like that. But that is not something that like anybody's really pushing upon the media to get out there and try to start steering some direction towards. It's literally just because we've used our sources to like go behind everybody and figure stuff out, you know, like there's no jumping in front of a story by the teams or the riders or really anybody about stuff like that. Hardly ever. And then when it gets out, they get kind of annoyed that it's out there. And it's like, well, that's how it's supposed to work, man. Like, you should be excited for the prospect that your name is in the media about potential landing spots. Like, I don't know.
Like, in a sense, Prado's agent should be like, hey, there's way too much talk about you trying not to qualify at Budds Creek. We need to get you talking to explain that this wasn't true. I think it was true, but let's just say for argument's sake. And also, if you go and do an interview with X, Y, and Z, they're going to start to like take your side a little bit because they're going to be thankful for that. You know, it's playing the game. Whereas at the moment, unfortunately, and I do mean unfortunately, do I believe that Jorge tried not to qualify? Yes, I 100% do. Do I think that if it went to the LCQ, he would have not qualified? Probably. Was he putting in effort? Not really. But there's still reason for him to kind of do an interview and explain the concept of that because it would benefit him. Because at the moment, I do think it's unfortunate that everyone is just piling on him. Like I do, from a human aspect, I genuinely feel bad for him because he is fucking taking some heat from all directions. And he didn't kill anyone, but the way he's being kind of beat down, you'd think he murdered someone. Like it is quite aggressive. So I think him trying to turn the tide a little bit with some words wouldn't hurt.
I can agree with some of what you said right there, but and this isn't even one of the topics I wanted to talk about, but we're at the point now where Prado himself, not because of the bike or anything like that, himself has done irreparable damage to his career. Like,
yeah, for sure.
He should have been way better about a lot of things this year, and actively showing up to maybe not qualify is ridiculous. Like at that point, you should have just called Cowie and been like, I fell this week and my hand's dinged up or something like that. Even if it's a lie, like don't show up and do this. Like this just makes it all so much worse, So
Yeah, and I do believe that's the case because in reality, Prado is good enough to qualify for the fastest 40 on a insert terrible bike here. He's that good.
Yeah.
Which is also something I take issue with, is people are now bleeding over into the Prado's fucking no good anyway. And it's like, well, no. He's not right now, but at its core, he's still the current world champion, believe it or not.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I think there's absolutely a world where if he does go to KTM next year, he wins races. And if that happens, not only does that look insane in retrospect, it definitely doesn't do Cowie any favors. And if you're Cowie, you got to be extremely pissed off. So
yeah, at the moment,
it's crazy.
At the moment, Cowie can rest a little bit because Prado is taking the brunt. Cowie's not off the hook here. 2026 is equally as big for Cowie.
Yeah.
Cowie have to, if there's even a hint of it not going well with Chase, that will be irreversible damage for Cowie. So I think it's very much, both sides are unstable and teetering on the edge of more drama and pointing of the fingers and whatnot. So yeah, it's gonna add a very interesting 2026 storyline subplot.
Anyway, back to the topic that I brought up, though. I mean, look, at the end of the day, what I am thankful for is that these guys are not backing away from saying what they feel a little bit. I think that's much more needed in the sport in general. I think maybe going at fans and tweeting back and literally saying there's been shit online about me and stuff like that is not maybe the most practical way to say it, but hey, it's how they feel. And I respect that they're willing to put it out there because there's far too many people in the sport that would never do that. And I think that needs to change a little bit. So all around, I think cool because they actually did it, but maybe in the future, there needs to be a little bit better team communication and I guess rider understanding of what clean image looks like.
Well, ultimately, I think what we're seeing now, and I think what the riders wholeheartedly believe or have always believed, is a team's great, but ultimately no one's really got your back.
No.
And I think some riders now are starting to be like, well, I need to start looking out for myself a little bit more. And you see that in other sports. Again, we always make the comparison, but F1 media pens, the drivers will just say, oh, yeah, the car's shit. Or, yeah, no, they're not. I need to talk to the team about that. And even though they're not saying it, the messaging is clear. They're not happy with the team.
And even to further, so I was going to say, just to further the F1 point that you're talking about, all of those guys hire their own publicist / PR person. And most of the time they're wearing team stuff because it's kind of just how the nature of the business works, but they're looking out for their own individual driver,
Yeah.
So that needs to happen.
Basically, someone needs to look out for the riders in this sport.
Yeah.
Beyond signing a contract and washing your hands at that point. Because I know of many agents, their sole purpose is just once the team deal is done, they're like, oh, well, yeah, I'm out. There was a rider that called me earlier this year and he was like, do you think I can get personal sponsors? And I was like, yeah, sure, why? And I'm like, well, my agent kind of did my team deal and then just stopped. What? And I was like, yeah, it's worth a try.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's all I think this is ultimately the launch pad for change. I do think that. I think that this is going to force some people to look at things differently. I think this is going to force some riders and some teams to reevaluate how they present themselves and how they can stop. Because realistically, there is no way to guarantee that Prado on a KTM is going to go well or Chase on a Kawasaki is going to go well. So if I'm on either side of any of those camps, I'm already putting contingencies in place of so what are we doing worst case scenario?
Yeah. What's the opt out or something along those lines?
How are we going to handle this? How are we going to play? What's our story going to be?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, well, I mean, it's super interesting for sure. Percent Pi. Prado is still on a Cowie by Charlotte. 100% still, you think?
I mean, I don't think anything's 100% at this point, but I think, yes. Is he on a KTM at the Nations? That's the debate in my mind at the moment.
Okay.
I think in an ideal world in Prado land, he will be released or fired and able to ride his GP spec KTM or gas at the Nations. I think that's the ideal plan in his mind, and I think he would turn up to the Nations with no prep on it if he had to, and he would just go out there and fuck me if he goes 1-1 at the Nations on a KTM. I think the world will explode.
So you think like DeCarli is still as like, you know, it's his little baby kind of in a way that he would just do that for Prado?
Well, no, I think if Prado signed a KTM, they're obviously going to do whatever they can to.
Sure, but I mean that has to come with the respect of the team that he rode for before that to be okay with him doing that. So
No, if Austria say like we're in, then that happens.
All right.
At the end of the day, DeCarli is a employee of Austria.
I understand that, but I'm just curious about, because I know that like they loved him, but they really wanted him to stay, and when he left, they were kind of mad, right? So
Not if they were mad, but if he's back in KTM, he's kind of back.
Yeah, maybe.
And ultimately, it's a PR dream for KTM potentially. Like, hey, this guy who left us told everyone we were shit. Not only has he come crawling back, but he's also winning again. So how bad are we? You know,
And he made our competitor look terrible.
yeah, like it's honestly like if I'm KTM, I'm like, okay, let's put out fucking everything into making sure Prado wins because that is literally a marketing dream. I also want to say this on the Vial thing because this is interesting, and I like this because this is where the sport. These are the comparisons that should be being made. So this shock issue in America. Chase has had it, RJ's had it, Barsha's had it, Tom's had it. It's a frequent thing. I did some digging in the GP paddock. No KTM rider or Husky rider in MXGP has ever had a shock issue. Ever. Nothing, not even a hint of what Americans are dealing with. So, there is some interesting parallels there. Like, what the fuck is going on in America then? Is it user error? Is it like what? That's what I want to know now. I want to do some digging into the comparison.
Do you happen to know? Maybe you don't. Is the thing that RJ's been talking about related to the GP suspension?
What thing has he been talking about?
Well, he got on some sort of like new spec shock or something like that.
Well, no, that was forks.
Forks.
Yeah, he went on I think essentially full factory WP forks
that like the GP guys get.
Yeah, basically essentially the GP spec. And Barsha didn't have an option to test that, even though he's unhappy, because America didn't order enough of those parts pre-season. Honestly, it's an interesting little thing. And catch me at the Nations with KTM USA and KTM Europe standing side by side. I'm going to be watching this very carefully because I think there's some interesting stuff here. What if we get to the Nations and the KTM America riders have shock problems and the KTM Europe riders don't? Like, that's fucking weird and interesting, but it seems like that could be the reality.
Yeah. Well, that's one storyline to think about many moons from now, but very interesting to see how this all shook out at Budds Creek and what people had to say and the social media drama at foot. Let me tell you guys about Liat. Liat Protection is in our brand DNA. It started 20 years ago with the groundbreaking Liat neck brace and continues today with an extensive product offering of protective gear and riding apparel. But what Liat really stands for is inspiring confidence and ensuring safety with every ride. And look, I mean, if these riders need protection from the blowback they're going to get from the things that have happened this year, might I recommend the 6.5 neck brace by Liat? You think that if they put that on, they might not get too much flack?
Well, they'll get flack, but they'll be protected against it.
They will be protected. That's good. Thanks to Liat. Head over to liat.com. Check out their wide selection of offerings available.
Better read.
Something, Big Blue?
Better read. Prado's complaining about how unsafe he felt on the bike. All he had to do was whack on some Liat protection, and that would have mitigated those fears completely. He would have been free to ride whatever bike he wanted, flat out, because he would have felt safe and secure.
Can't wait for Fox to call us on this one.
I'm not a sponsor. Fuck it. You can say anything when on this show when we haven't got conflicting sponsors. Let's see what else.
All right. Let's just
maybe they should have put a Liat brace around Tom's shock.
Let's jump into our second topic because we're already almost a half hour into the show. We never actually really got around to talking about the fact that Hayden Deegan's 450 deal is done. and he will be riding a 450 no matter what outdoors next year, although there is a handful of people that believe he at least dips his toes into a few supercrosses on a 450. We'll see if that happens. Either
but
way,
the people that are saying that have been proven to be wrong on many topics.
I've heard it from other sources than what you're thinking of. But anyway, so he will be on a 450 full-time next summer. And we have already talked about this before a few times with, obviously, Jet Lawrence did this. Chase Sexton also did this. They jumped up to a 450 outdoors. They did not wait until the contract year was over. They signed their extension with their respective teams, jumped up to a 450 after completing 250 Supercross, and then got the entire gamut of racing outdoors, and now it'll be SMX as well, before they had to debut on a 450 in Supercross. Now, is this going to be the norm moving forward? Because we have now seen basically the last three superstars, as I would put it, do this in this sport. In Sexton, Jet, and now Deegan. So in 3 years' time, if Cole Davies turns into a superstar, is he going to have the same route? Like, is this now the norm? And long gone are the days where we see someone jump up to a 450 at A1? Or is this just a weird coincidence / sequence of events the last 5-6 years?
Well, first of all, it only happens if the rider is backed by the same manufacturer and team to an extent.
As most prodigies do.
Yep. Which means that is it going to become the norm? No. Could it become the norm for prodigies? Yes.
That's exactly what my point is, though.
I think Jet and Hayden is very mapped out. I feel like Chase was a little more like a byproduct of the Honda 250 at that point, not being very competitive. And whose spot did he fill that year? Was it Roxon or was it someone? Because there was a need. Point being, there was a need. It's not like they bumped a third bike in, is it? There was a need to have a second bike. Was it because Roxon was injured, or was it because who would have been on a team at that point? Roxon it wouldn't have been Seeley, would it? That's far too late for Seeley.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
I'm honestly drawing a massive blank. But anyway, I don't think Chase was maybe as orchestrated as Hayden and Jet is. I don't think Cole Davies is in that camp yet. Who would be next after Deegan? There isn't really one, is there? There isn't another prodigy going up. Joe, I guess? Levi?
Well, that's why I'm saying like it has to be someone that could turn into the next prodigy, like a Cole Davies or whatever, something along those lines. Brayton raced Supercross for them, and so he wasn't going to race outdoors. So Chase just jumped up, basically.
Yeah. So effectively, I think Chase was less mapped out. It was more like, you don't want to ride that 250. We need a guy. Yeah, this makes sense on all angles.
But he was going to be forced to race 450 Supercross in 2021 no matter what. So maybe this was like their preemptive thinking anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is Chase wasn't announced like a year in advance as like, hey, this is our plan.
No.
I mean, I guess there's room for a Kawasaki rider to do it if they don't have Prado next year and they only have a Supercross only 450 guy. Then you're kind of manufacturing them par for a Kitchen to maybe throw out his contract, go up early for outdoors, and then carry that over into the next year, although I don't think he wants to do that. And it's certainly not in the plan because he has a 2-year 250 contract. So yeah, it's nice to say it's a norm, or it's going to become the norm. It's nice to say it's a great plan, but I honestly can't see it really working out for anyone in the immediate future.
Okay. I think we have to see what happens. Like, I personally don't think 3 years ago we would have said this would happen for Deegan because we had no idea. Like, we had no idea if he'd turn out to be the prodigy that he's turned out to be. And again, could that be someone like Cole Davies in 3 years? Absolutely. He's already winning Supercrosses. He has a motocross win. Like, he could totally turn out to be the next 250 god, if you will, that needs a clear path to the 450s. And to me, it makes sense to do this for them because instead of just throwing them to the wolves in 450 Supercross, you give them a chance to like figure everything out when maybe the field is a little depleted anyway, as we often see with 450 motocross. Build some confidence and go into Supercross with like a full, basically, season in your back pocket already.
Any comment on the fact that Hunter didn't do this and has turned out just fine?
I'm not saying that it's like the detriment to you will never figure it out, but Hunter, a fantastic point. Hunter didn't even qualify for his first 450 Supercross race of his career. Now, there was extenuating circumstances. He did crash in a weird first turn thing and then just didn't ride very good in the LCQ either. But like that, I think is going to be solved for guys that would have all that experience behind them because they would know who they're racing and not be freaked out by the moment.
No, I think you're taking liberties there. I don't. If you're trying to say that Hunter would have qualified for that A1 if he'd raced the previous outdoor, then I think that's a stretch. His first turn crashes happened and he hit his head or something, didn't he? So that's why he was off in the LCQ.
Well, either way, I'm just saying, I think this makes sense. Like, I think that this should be something that if you are that level of a talent should be basically the path you take from this point onward. It's such a valued learning experience to be able to really not have much pressure outdoors and go through the motions with that, because I feel like the spotlight and everything like that is so much larger with Supercross.
Okay, but I think in contrast, you could say there's more pressure outdoors because we're going into 2026 outdoors. Deegan would have had a lot more time to prep than his 450 rivals because of the way the 250 regions work. So Deegan, the storyline coming into Parla would be, well, Deegan's had a lot more time than everyone else, so let's see what he's got.
Yeah, but okay, so that's even that almost makes it even a better example because you can go in arguably more prepared than the guys you're going to go racing. Whereas for 3 months of the off season, everybody's grinding Supercross, and then you're all 100% ready to go for Supercross. If the 450 guys are coming off of trying to battle for a Supercross title and you're jumping up to the class and you've had 2 months testing outdoors on a 450, you might be better prepared and can go just win the title right away like Jet did. So I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't think that was even a topic, was it? It makes sense. Of course it does. I don't necessarily think it's like the be-all and end-all of moving to a 450. I don't think it... Like, I could, if you told me that Deegan was going pro at A1, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, that's such a risk. I'd be like, like it's Deegan, he's good. It's Jet, he's good. Yeah, I mean, in contrast to your point about Hunter, Chase crashed in his second 450 Supercross and was out for some time. Obviously, Jet won, so that's in contrast to contrast. And we'll see what Deegan does. So Deegan will split the difference.
We're also
in 2027.
We've jumped over another guy that actually is doing this right now. That it's not because he's a prodigy. It's just the way it circumstantially worked out. But RJ Hampshire jumped up from 250 Supercross to 450 Outdoors this year, has progressively gotten better. I think goes from a guy that if he was entering Supercross fresh off of where he was, in 250 Supercross next year, I don't know that we would be like, yeah, RJ Hampshire, man, watch out. He might be pretty good in Supercross, but now seeing how he's done outdoors, I think he firmly fits into at least a conversation for top 5 guy right away. So even that is another guy that has seen the benefits of doing this path, in my opinion. So I think it's just going to be, is it going to be the norm? No, it's not going to be the way that every guy jumps up to a 450. Absolutely not. But I think that if you have the ability to do it, you should, because I think it's proving its worth and value for these guys to be prepared. And even to your point about Chase and his crashing out in 2021, he was leading his second ever main event. Yes, he crashed, but
you can't put this down. Chase Sexton's a good rider. That wasn't the topic, though.
I'm not saying that, but he was clearly prepared for 450 Supercross. Yes, he crashed, but he was prepared.
Kellen, you're making this difficult. Because if I text Chase right now and say, hey, I'm on a podcast, were you leading Houston 2 because of outdoors the previous year? He'd literally be like, what the fuck are you talking about? So, yes, it's good. I'm not saying, obviously it's good, but you're taking it too far. End of topic.
Okay, end of topic.
Because you're taking it too far to the point where you're trying to
I'm analyzing whether it's a path that these guys should absolutely try to pursue or not.
Yeah, we've covered that. It's good.
Okay, it's good. You don't care about whether or not Cole Davies should already be thinking about this.
No, Cole Davies should not be thinking about this. He's fucking barely turned pro. He's raced 2 outdoors in his life. He's got 23, 23, 117. He's got bigger problems than planning his 450 debut.
He's got to win.
Not to mention the fact it's actually nothing to do with him at all, and he has no control over it. So whether the team have the A, room, and B, ability.
Well,
taking it too far.
Okay. Let me tell you guys about Racetech. For 40 years, Racetech has been supplying the motorcycle industry with high-quality suspension components made right here in the USA. For modern to vintage, Racetech is your go-to source for suspension performance. And if you get too strung out like Lewis, you can also head over to Racetech and get your suspension service so you'll land in a more plush and comfortable zone and not be too stressed out by your coworker making your life difficult.
My life's not difficult.
All right, do you want to do my third topic or should we just skip it?
Let's just skip it.
Okay, what do you got for me?
Okay, so this is like a joint topic. Really nice for us to work together on this. I copy and pasted this tweet over the weekend. Dustin Pipes tweeted this. The last 250 qualifier was some of the best TV this sport can have. We need to find a way to replicate it in the future. 2-day format with all qualifying on the first day, longer sessions with coverage and breakdowns of the laps. Now, this goes hand in hand, not hand in hand, let's say hand in finger, somewhat. We had a conversation with the powers that be on Friday, and there was some talk of what, Kellen?
Well, basically, this all stems from MX Sports is having to turn away guys that wish to qualify for nationals because they only allow 80 slots in each class. And they do that, obviously, because if you have 2 sessions of qualifying, you can only have 40 in each. And if you have more than that, then the track is way too full of people and so on and so forth. So the idea in an effort to maybe not be able to turn anybody away and allow more guys a chance to qualify is to have Friday sessions that have nothing to do with your top 40. Your top 40 is already seated in. They're going to be good to go no matter what. But everybody that's 41 on back that wishes to race the national has to pre-qualify their way in essence, to the Saturday program. And then those guys that get pre-qualified in get a chance to try to qualify for the Fast 40. So you can have 100 people sign up. And those extra 60 go to a pre-qualifier on Friday. They have their qualifying sessions to try to make it into that Fast 40, which then goes into Saturday. So it turns into a 2-day format at a handful of races. It wouldn't be every race, but a handful of races. And
it wouldn't be for every rider. It would still be a 1-day format for essentially for the teams.
Yep, exactly. But at least, I mean, look, for example, they turned away the borderline Canadian champion Tanner Ward from the last 2 nationals. They turned away Dylan Wright from Unadilla. He did show up for Budds Creek and crashed. So, like, those are 2 high-level talented guys that didn't make it in because there's already so many people trying to qualify. They don't have enough spots at the moment to let everybody in. So this would be a way to at least give everybody a chance, which I think is fair. Like, it gives them an opportunity at least. You might be packing up and heading home Friday night, but you're there and you had a chance.
Yeah, and then the argument against this would be that Amateur Day moves to Sunday or Thursday, or it's not Friday. Friday is essentially a bit of a pro day. Again, not a full pro day because the Chases, the Jets, the Haydens have nothing to do with it. But I don't see a problem with that at all. I think I do genuinely not like the fact that on Friday you've got all of the teams, all of the riders milling around, and then people like you and I just floating around on bikes, just riding around the pits. And, it's like, it kind of sends a very weird message out about what the event is. So I would like the fact for Friday and Saturday to be somewhat exclusive to professional racing. And then everyone leaves Saturday, and Sunday, people like you and me can do what we want to do. Yeah.
And, again, the overarching idea of it is to try to allow a guy that could make Fast 40 or has, give him a shot basically to get in and stop turning guys away. Like, we definitely heard that there was a lot of people that got turned away. There's been a lot of social media discourse about this, about guys that have gotten turned away. Locals at High Point that have done the race for years but couldn't get in because there's too many spots filled and stuff like that. And, I think even another kind of byproduct of this all happening in the first place is because with SMX, we're seeing more and more of the guys from Europe come over and try to make it into SMX, or at least try their hand at having a full pro motocross season. And you're not going to turn those guys away. Like, they have FOIM withstanding. They're also talented enough to deserve the spot anyway. So you turn more of these like kind of local guys away that have raced the series for a long time on a local level. I don't know. Like, it just, to me, it makes most sense of just opening it up and allowing these guys a chance, right?
Yeah, no, it makes too much sense, I think. It literally, I have no bad feeling towards it at all. And then it also sets the foundation for maybe, going back to Dustin's tweet, maybe in the future, we do bleed into somewhat of a 2-day format. Now, everyone in MXGP hates the 2-day format. Well, not everyone. 90% of people wish it was like America. From my point of view, not having to race, I like the 2-day format. I think there's room in the middle, whether you're in America or Europe, to do a 1.5-day format. I do. Because ultimately a GP is very strung out and you could pack it into half a day on the first day. So why not do that? Because in America, even the riders who aren't on press day, they are typically around on press day because they've already got in, they're watching press day, so like, why not do it like SMX? SMX, nothing happens Friday morning, but by Friday afternoon, everyone's there and everyone's doing free practice and whatnot. I think that's a nice compromise with everyone where you're like, hey, we're not going to go to full 2 days because we know you don't want that, but everyone's in on Friday afternoon anyway, so we're just going to run with that.
Yeah. And I mean, look, another thing that this could also help if we ever do go back to some sort of, like you said, 2-day format, 1.5-day format in the future is the hottest topic at the moment, aside from Prado, is the length of season with SMX and these guys getting burnt down, stuff like that. And I almost wonder if you give these guys an extra day at the track of just practicing the track that they're going to race, if they would scale back on a little bit of riding during the week, because they would have one extra day they'd be at the track. You give them, like in Europe example, you give them a 40-minute free practice session at the track. Like they're getting all of their testing and stuff in at that point instead of trying to grind out a test on a Tuesday. I could help a little bit, no?
Yeah, in GPs, there's maybe more room to just say I'm having a week off. Whereas in America, there isn't that. I mean, is it dumb to say that not telling everyone they need to be at the track for 6:30 would also help? You know? Like,
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe that's too minor, but it is kind of... It's just the way American sports are, isn't it? Like NASCAR and... I don't know, actually. I'm talking out my arse. I don't have a fucking clue. But the vibe I get is that a one-day format is a very American thing.
Not in other motorsports in the U.S., no. But yeah, I mean, I guess other types of sports, football, things like that. But yeah,
to Dustin's point, I would like it to be a little... I do feel like it's... I've said this 1,000,001 times. I do very much feel like the one-day format is like, we're here... Put some qualifying times in. Let's go racing. Come on, we've got sun's going down soon. And it's like, whoa, fucking hell! Like,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah, it is a lot. Saturday is about as wide open as you can get, which I think also makes it even a little bit tougher in general for like information getting out of any kind, because like the guys are less open to, like they've got their 12-hour routine and they're gone. And so we don't do interviews before or after. Obviously, press day, we get some of that. But even then, I feel like they're so locked in on what they got to do on press day that they don't even care to talk, but loosen it up a little bit. And I mean, how many times do you hear about like Steve and those guys when they had 2-day formats? It's like, yeah, we all just went out Friday and it was great. We're just having fun and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that stuff don't happen anymore.
No, I'll be interested. Third year now, I'll be interested to kind of observe the SMX format more and just get the tempo a little bit, because ultimately that is a good example of a 1.5-day format. I do think that.
Yeah, I mean, they don't start until their first practice is like 1:30, 2, something like that.
Yeah, well,
none of the press conferences were noon, and yeah, I mean, it's like press day, but the press conference ran longer, so I feel like maybe the LCQ practice would start at 1. I'm trying to remember, and then they'd have A practices 1:30 and 2.
Yeah,
something like that.
And the perfect example is a lot of people are already traveling anyway. Like I remember one of the outdoor rounds this year, I flew in Thursday mid-afternoon, and Hunter and Jet were on my flight, and they weren't doing press day, so they had no reason to be at the track until Saturday. And I said to them, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, and they were like, "Well, there's no point rushing in at the last minute, because then you're even more burnt out and tired and stuff, like, which take our time." So like everyone's already kind of working in that direction. Well, not everyone, but
yeah. And I mean, even remember how many people, like, how tight it ended up being when Washougal last year, 2 years ago. Remember the Washougal where like the flights all got totally screwed, and then someone had Deegan got a private jet for a lot of guys, and like even that
last year,
just trying to get in early and settle yourself, and heck, adjust to a time change even. especially when, you're a California guy and you're going East Coast and you got to wake up super early for these races. Like something like that can help just to get a day in early. So
yeah, and fucking, I don't get, like, someone, and this is now just talking about us, so who fucking cares? But someone said to me the other day, like, oh, yeah, I'm red-eyeing into Charlotte. And I'm like, why? Why? What is there to possibly fucking gain? You're just tricking yourself into thinking you're getting ahead when really you're just hurting yourself. Like, there's nothing to gain from that at all. But you're just playing mind games with yourself a little bit, I think. Like, it's like it's literally cutting off your nose to spite your face. Literally.
Having taken red eyes myself even this year, I can say that for me, it's super helpful to have an extra day-ish at home. So
yeah, but then your Friday, you're just fucked.
Yeah, but you're honestly most of the weekends anyway. You're kind of fucked anyway because there's so much. Like, okay, so like Supercross press day. Yes, we start. So let's say a day race for Supercross, and we'll get in. We'll have our press day like late in the afternoon where we'll grind and work, and then be done by 7-8 p.m. And then bam, we got to wake up at 6 a.m. the next day to go to the track because practice starts at 8. And that's what happens with outdoors too. Like, you're always going to be tired on a race weekend. So what does it make a difference if you only got a little bit of sleep on the plane? Ask Io. Worked fine for him, no?
Yeah, I'm very anti it. I don't like it. I'm very anti it. I like to have my ducks in a row and cross my T's and dot my I's. I don't like to fucking run a loose program like that.
If you want your ducks in a row, I would recommend heading over to Nomura. Nomura Technologies has been a trusted name in performance engine components for motocross, ATV, UTV, and personal watercraft for over 20 years. From complete rebuilds to high-performance upgrades, Nomura delivers precision-engineered parts built to perform under pressure. Their expanding lineup includes cast and forged pistons, connecting rods, gasket kits, engine valves, and cylinder kits, all designed to meet or exceed OEM specification. Find full product details and application coverage at nomura.com.
I didn't realize Nomura was some sort of duck organization business.
Well, I mean, if you want to have better engine performance, you should go there.
Oh,
and get your ducks in a row.
Okay, I took it too literally. Okay. Cool. So it's me still. I've just realized. I don't know if I want to do this or if we should save this to next week. Do we want to talk about how you can eliminate people from SMX? Or do we need to put some think into it? How to make it more playoffy?
Playoffy?
How do you eliminate people from week to week?
Oh, you mean from like a championship standpoint? I thought you meant like get rid of the LCQ, eliminate those people.
No. Make it more playoffy. Because I went to Feld a couple of weeks ago, and they did say this is something they are constantly playing around with, ideas and brainstorming how to add a bit more jeopardy into weeks 1, 2, 3.
No, I think that that wouldn't be a good idea because it's what NASCAR does, and I was borderline a NASCAR fan enough to know that everybody hates the chase format except Zach Osborne, basically. So, I don't think
it's not a chase format, is it?
That's literally what it's called, the chase for the cup, whatever that is.
Yeah, but that's more to do with isn't that more to do with resetting the points of a real championship?
Yes, which is exactly what SMX does.
No, because we're resetting the points on a different championship.
Yeah, but it's still okay, so the SMX season is now done. We've done 28 SMX races, and we're resetting the points for the 3 playoffs.
No one knows. It's one of life's great unanswered questions. About? No one knows. It's one of those things in life, Kellen, you're just never going to be able to figure out.
But your idea or your logic is like, how can we get it to the final round being 5 guys going for it, right?
No, like I guess the concept that people throw around is how can we make it so that you have to somewhat do well in playoff 1 to still be relevant in playoff 2.
I think that you do. Like if you actually laid it out, and I know it's triple points for the finale, so it opens up the possibilities a little bit more. But I bet if you go back to after Texas last year and looked at the points and you say, who is 75 points back of Hunter Lawrence? There's probably like 8 or 9 dudes that were mathematically eliminated from winning the title at that point.
I will say that Hunter told me at Unadilla that, I really want to put focus on Charlotte this year because for whatever reason I don't seem to do well there. And I literally said, well, does it matter? And he went, no. He went, no, but it's nice to do well. So I actually think that more people now are cottoning on to the fact that Charlotte is not important. Because RJ said the same to me. RJ said to me, do not expect me to be as good as I am outdoors in SMX to begin with. And I went, well, that's fine, isn't it? Because Charlotte doesn't really matter. And he went, yeah, that's kind of the plan. So, I don't know. But then also, in contrast to that, I think Charlotte really matters because I guess it's hard to work out exactly the situation without knowing how the playoffs work out. But when you look at the fact that all Chase needed was 7 more points and he would have seeded in 3rd instead of 6th, and that would have been a difference of 5 points, or less now, actually. 5 points now, because we've changed it. Podcasting is hard. That's quite poignant. So maybe Charlotte does mean more for Chase because he already needs to make up a deficit on Jet. It's also quite interesting that I think it worked. I can't remember exactly, but didn't we work out that Chase needed 7 extra points in Supercross?
What, to win the title?
Yeah. Or so essentially, Arlington, he lost 7 points in Arlington. Did he get 4th or 3rd?
4th. Yeah.
4th.
No, he got 4th.
Okay, so that we figured out the 7 points in Arlington basically cost him. And now that you look at the seed, the 7 points in Arlington also cost him 4 positions there. Wild.
Yeah.
Funny how life works out, Kellen. Funny. Just life.
Okay, so let's talk about formatting for playoffs because I think that's the overarching idea of your topic
It's a
here.
bit of a boring topic.
Could you, instead of do single, double, triple points, do double, double, triple? So the first 2 matter a little bit more, or single, single, double, or something like that, so that like Charlotte and St. Louis have the same kind of oomph. Like there's a reason why you do really good at both of them to get yourself set up for a position to do well at the finale, instead of like, well, Charlotte doesn't matter. Next one matters a little bit more. Then the last one matters a lot.
No, because I don't think they want to play with that, because the ultimate goal is to make sure that it's all on the line at the finale. And double, double, double. If you win the first
double, double,
2,
triple is what I said.
But double, double, triple. If you win the first 2, I'd imagine that would give you enough of a buffer where you don't have to lay it all on the line at the finale. Although, truth be told, I guess if you win the first 2 anyway with single and double, you're kind of safe to a degree, depending on how you seeded. But it would only magnify that further. You tell everyone it's single, double, triple, but you don't tell anyone which round is which. And at the start of the first main event, we have a celebrity guest pick a briefcase on the start line. He opens it up, and then we're in Charlotte, and we're like, this is the triple point round. And everyone's like, fuck. Now we've got to go for it. Would be exciting. Right. Yeah. I don't know if that's really professional or not. But.
No. I mean, no, to be honest, like the SMX championship in and of itself is still pretty gimmicky. The way that it's formatted.
I'm good with it. I'm fucking excited for Charlotte. Like I am.
I mean, I think it's going to be a good battle again, but yeah, I mean, winner take all at the finale is what they're trying to go for. So just make it some facet of that anyway. How about single, single, triple for points?
Single, single, triple?
Yeah.
I guess ideally, I don't know. Honestly, the whole concept of playoffs is so confusing to me because it's a very American thing, and I just don't understand. It's one of life's great unanswered questions.
It really, like in the Premier League in the UK, like there's literally, those 2 teams are the best, so they'll just play each other for the cup. Like there's no.
No, the Premier League is just like a series. Like it's like pro motocross. Like to my knowledge, someone could clinch it a couple of games early, and that's that.
Really?
To my knowledge. Now, full disclosure, I don't know shit, so I could be talking out my arse. But to my knowledge, that is how it works.
All right. I don't know either. So.
Sport. No, I'm certain, because I used to play FIFA 07 on my PSP all the time, and I'd fucking clinch early.
But you would maybe clinch. You would clinch like your division of the Premier League, but you still have to play for a championship.
No, the Premier League. Now you're getting into the semantics too much, but the Premier League is like that. I'm fairly certain.
I just don't think it's quite an American thing to say playoffs is American only. But
hold on. You just ask your good friend ChatGPT. Are the playoffs an American concept? While North America has strongly embraced and expanded the concept, playoffs are not exclusively an American invention. Hold on. let me just ask my good friend, what European sports use playoff format?
I mean, shoot, even the World Cup is like group stages, then semifinals.
Yeah, but the World Cup is a different thing. Many major European sports use playoff formats, particularly soccer, UEFA Champions League, no one knows what that is. World Cup qualification, some people know what that is. Ice hockey, who knew that Europe even had ice hockey? And American football. Well, it's not really fucking European then, is it, if you're calling it American football? So ChatGPT's lost its mind. No one knows what the UEFA Champions League is. No one knows. I've heard of it.
I know,
no one knows.
but okay.
But my point stands. I was correct about the Premier League. Well done,
okay.
Lewis. Bringing some real world knowledge into the sport, into the podcast. Yeah, sick, nice.
All right.
Now realizing I didn't have a third topic because you took mine. Do you want to discuss Cracker Barrel?
No, but I would like to discuss Partzilla because they're the premier OEM parts dealer and distributor. They sell OEM parts for Honda, Kawasaki, Polaris, Can-Am, Suzuki, Arctic Cat, Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo, and Yamaha motorcycles, ATVs, PWCs, and snowmobiles. Visit Partzilla.com to see their extensive line of parts and accessories. And hey, Partzilla Blaster Power PRMX Racing has a member in the SMX playoffs by the skin of his teeth. 3 points off the cutoff. Mitchell Harrison, P20 in SMX seating going into the playoffs. Congratulations, Mitchell. Well done. The engine failure in the last moto did not cost him at the end of the day.
I think that what we should change about SMX is now, in the wake of Budds Creek, they are reaching out to riders who are LCQ eligible and deciding if they want to race, etc., etc. I think we should have that figured out pre-Budds Creek. You have to commit pre-Budds Creek. So then we end the TV show at Budds Creek going, here are our 10 wild cards. They all failed, but they're going for it. You know, like that would add a little more. Like, ultimately, I'd quite like to sit here now and really deep dive the LCQs, but we don't know the entry lists for those. So I think that would be good to get a bit more ahead of that a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's crack a barrel.
Okay.
No? Just quickly, because
let's do it. Non-moto. Why not?
I am genuinely intrigued.
Yep.
I've never gone to Cracker Barrel. Explain it to me. Oh, well, fucking end of topic.
I mean, it's a I don't know, actually. Like, I know it's a Southeast food change as far as I'm aware.
But is it like shit?
Most people I know say that they like really like going to it, like borderline. I've heard people say Waffle House is their favorite place, so I've heard Crackle Barrel is also similar to that.
We're talking shit level then. We're talking like bottom of the barrel.
It's a homey chain restaurant serving American comfort food with an on-site general store.
I saw this on TikTok that it's got a store, and I was immediately like, yeah, I don't want to go to a fucking eat in a store. I'll never go to Cracker Barrel, no matter what their logo is. But people are really angry about their logo change. And let me tell you that I do agree that the new logo is arguably some of the worst rebranding I've ever seen in my life. Like, who designed that? But I don't think people are angry about the design elements of the new logo. I think they're just angry that the old logo has disappeared, to which I say, who gives a fuck?
I just love that I searched Cracker Barrel, and the top headlines right now are Trump declares Cracker Barrel should bring back old logo. That's where we are right now, 2025.
At least we figured that out. No, but like, I think the new logo is shit. But who cares that they changed their logo?
It's basically the old logo without all the cool stuff on it. Like, it's just the same.
I don't think a man sitting next to a barrel is cool, to be honest.
Okay.
I have to admit, the way that Cracker Barrel looks, I have never considered going in it because it does not seem like somewhere I want to eat. Potentially, the new logo would maybe be like, oh, well, I'll just go there. For me, because it does look like a cleaner food place with that logo. Okay. The old logo, I don't know what I'm getting. Like, am I going to be... I don't know what I'm getting. Yeah.
So what we've established at this point is basically the rebrand worked because it's about to bring people that would normally never go into their store.
Because it's not going to brainwash me, and I have knowledge of how shit it looked before. So it's not. I know the trick isn't working on me, but potentially, if I didn't have knowledge before, I think it would now appeal to me a little bit more. Even I'd probably look at it and go, "That's a terribly designed logo." but maybe they cook better than they design.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, is this not basically the Jaguar rebrand? This like reincarnated?
That was a bit more. Cracker Barrel have just changed their logo. Jaguar changed their entire identity a little bit. I think that was a little more aggressive. Cracker Barrel have just literally changed their logo.
And for those that might lose it, that I've never been to a Cracker Barrel, there's literally not one within 100 miles of me. They're all over the east, southeast of the USA, but there's pretty much none on the west. So
let me see how close they are to me. 9.3 miles. Okay, if Steve will pay, because this is technically a Pulpamex production, I will go to a Cracker Barrel before next week's show, and we will deep dive if it's as shit as I presume it is. I will, if Steve will pay for my meal, I will go in there with a notepad, food critic style, and I will deep dive every single thing about my experience from top to bottom.
Here's the problem you're going to have, though, is that I think Cracker Barrel serves a lot of food that you're not that fond of. Like, it's big American breakfast food, which do you like that?
Well, I'm not really a breakfast guy anyway.
Exactly. But it's like big plates of pancakes and...
Oh, no, I like pancakes.
Well, I mean,
yeah, they
but
got chicken tenders.
They also sell like chicken fried steak and...
So it's not a dinner place at all?
No, there's dinners there too, but they also have big breakfast plates. They have big dinner plates. Like, it's a lot of stuff. They got a saucy chicken sandwich.
Burger. They got southern fried chicken.
I mean, your palate is very
They got
bland,
chicken and burgers.
So. Yeah.
If Steve will pay for my meal, because I'll technically be there on a reporting mission, I will go in and I will deep dive. I will even ask the waiter or waitress for their thoughts on the new logo. This is outbreak into the mainstream. But I need my meal to be comped because I'm not wasting my money on that. And speaking of meals, I'm distraught, Kellen.
Oh boy, is this an Am I a Dick?
No, it's They Are a Dick. So since March, Chipotle have had Chipotle honey chicken on the menu. Have you had it?
No, I've never had it at Chipotle, but I know what it is.
Kellen, never before have my taste buds danced like after a bite of Chipotle honey chicken. Superb. Just the best food I've ever eaten. It really fueled my Chipotle addiction. Turns out it was for a limited time only because I woke up Saturday, Kellen, to an email from Chipotle that said it's tough to say goodbye, ... And I'm like, fuck me, where am I out? Or are they out? So I clicked it and it says honey chicken leaving the menu. And I went to Chipotle yesterday. No honey chicken. So I had regular chicken. Honey chicken has spoiled me. Chipotle now tastes like shit and I'm not going back because I saw what life can be like and it's gone now. So they've ruined it. They have ruined it by taking away their most popular menu item. And to prove I'm not crazy, GQ magazine did an article about how this is the worst move that Chipotle could have ever made.
I'll tell you what, all I'm learning from this conversation is these major food chains marketing teams have you wrapped around their fingertip because at some point Chipotle is going to have their honey chicken back on the menu and you're going every day of the week. So you're going to spend so much more money at Chipotle because of this. And the same way Cracker Barrel, we never even would have talked about it. Now you're saying I might go taste it, figure it out if I like it because of this stupid logo change.
It's more of a podcast item. I'm being a reporter, Kellen. I'm trying to be the reporter that the people want me to be. We may have no insight on what the fuck Prado's doing, but we will be able to tell you. We will be able to tell you whether Cracker Barrel is good.
And that's why they tune in, man. This is why they come to LVK every week.
Because it's really important to evaluate what you're good and bad at in life. And what we're doing is we're steering into our strengths.
Yes.
Which is scraping the bottom of the barrel, if you will.
Scraping the bottom of the Cracker Barrel?
Oh, well, I kind of did that, Kellen. You've kind of taken it a bit too far.
Okay, thanks.
Also, I'm confused. So I'm angry about Chipotle. I'm confused. You know Apple?
Yeah,
the company,
heard of it.
not the fruit.
Yep.
They make phones and things. You know they just charge you Like, I've got a recurring bill from Apple and I have no fucking idea what it's for and I don't really care to find out, but I'm just happy to go along with the ride. I've got a hunch that the American healthcare system has pulled me into a similar ruse. Because I'm just getting $25 taken out of my account by the hospital and I have no idea why. And I rung them and said, I never got an invoice for this. And they were like, yeah, I don't know what that's for. So I feel like I have signed up for some sort, I don't know if I'm donating. Like, is this some sort of cause I accidentally started donating to? But I'm just randomly checking my phone and it's like, healthcare just took out $25. And I'm like, well, brilliant. And it just keeps happening.
You got to stop that.
Well, I don't know. Well, apparently, no one knows. I'm just letting them run me dry at this point.
Okay.
You know when you're playing a game, right up your alley, you're playing a game. Warzone. Familiar with Warzone?
Mm-hmm.
You die the first time. Which is me. So just to run the comparisons, that's me going into the ICU. Correct? Or the following?
Yeah, sure, yep.
You win the gulag. That's me leaving the ICU. But you respawn with a shit gun and you realize that actually, seeing as you've already died once, it's over. Like, you're not going to win now. You fucked it. So you just kind of let it play out and just wait to die.
I think that this is actually more along the lines of a game that I'm more familiar with called DayZ, where
no one knows what that is.
When you get shot or something along those lines, you begin to bleed out. And you can bandage yourself, but unless you fully bandage yourself, you're still bleeding out. And so you're just walking around taking damage the whole time, which is exactly what your wallet's doing right now after you've left the ICU because you refuse to change it. You need more bandages on your bank account.
So this is me. I've respawned into Warzone. I've got a pistol. Everyone else has got all fucking kinds of jazzy fuck shit. And I'm just sat there like, well, I'm going to die, so I'm just going to let it happen. And that's me watching my bank account. Just going, well, it's going to go to zero, so let's just let it happen. And then I'll be out. Game over.
That's a wild approach to the situation, but all right. Good to know. Could just call and stop it at some point, but you know.
Kellen, God has made his decision.
All right.
This is how he wants it to be.
Oh, man.
Or to tie it back into motocross, Jesus has made his decision.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's Jesus Prado or not, but... no. Yeah, so good. So Chipotle needs to bring back the honey chicken. Nando's needs to open locations across America. The hospital needs to stop taking money from me for no good reason. Also, this is fucking insane. So I'm just getting bill after bill after bill after bill for other hospital things outside of the regular $25 occurrence. And just to be clear, I didn't sign up for some sort of payment plan, so that's not what this is. I get another bill from the hospital pharmacy or some shit. Hold on, let me get it.
Okay.
It's just...
Man, Lewis is, you got problems, man. You got some real problems.
I've got this bill here, right? First of all, they spelt my name wrong, which is really insulting.
What did they spell it? How do you get
they spelled my middle
wrong?
name wrong. They spelled my middle name wrong.
Okay.
It's a $15 bill. Personally, just let me fucking have that one. Go, you know what? We'll just fucking scrap that bill. Anyway, so I get it. I can afford $15. I'm proud of myself. Adulting. There's no way to pay it on here. So I rung them. They didn't answer. And then they had an automated message saying, if you're having a problem with your bill, email us. So I emailed them and said, I'm trying to pay this $15, but I can't figure out how to do it. And they replied back and go, oh yeah, you can't pay it online or anything, or bank transfer or anything. You need to find a pharmacy, go in there and say you want to pay. How give fucked am I doing that? You know, let me pay it online or I'm not paying it. So, yeah, I'm not, like, oh, what are you doing today? I'm going to drive around and see if I can find a pharmacy that accepts my bill. No, I'm not doing that. What is this? IKEA? Pay your bills, some assembly required. No.
Oh, man. Poor Lou.
So, I don't understand. I don't understand how that can be a thing. Like, oh, did you get your bill? Yeah. Okay. Well, now the quest begins. It's like this is the first stage of a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Maybe this will take me to Cracker Barrel.
Is this not the American dream?
Well, I've paid everything else. Well, apart from my recurring fee, which just seems to be, like I said, I seem to have subscribed to like hospital-ness, which may work out in my favor when I go back soon. And they're like, oh, well, you're a regular subscriber. Come on in. But yeah, how can they expect me to pay this? Like, hold on. Let me find the email with these people. Maybe some people have some advice.
This is insane that we've gotten to this level on the podcast, but I'm loving it.
Lewis's email. Hello. I'm trying to pay this bill of $15.48, but see no option to do so. Please advise. Thank you. Business. Not even asking how they are. Straight business. Good morning. Unfortunately, we do not have an online payment option. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Please pay in person at the pharmacy. So I replied, what do you mean, the pharmacy? Please advise on what pharmacy you are talking about. Good afternoon. It would be the pharmacy at a hospital. A hospital? What are we doing? Just give me a specific location. Like, this scavenger hunt is too much for my young brain to figure
scammed.
out.
I think this is a scam email.
No, because I've actually got a bill.
No, I know, but they could have your address and just send you. Then you go on a wild scavenger hunt where you have to get a bunch of gift cards and then pay them in gift cards.
They also sent. I just realised this. I forgot they did this. They did send me a PDF. This does seem sketchy. They sent me a PDF where I can fill out my credit card details, send it back to them, and then they'll make the payment for me using the PDF with all of my credit cards.
You're being scammed. I think you're being scammed.
I'm good, thanks, guys.
Email them back and be like, just ask them how India is right now. What's the weather like?
Also, I've just realised, it says this is a transplant pharmacy. What the fuck did they do to me in hospital? The top of the credit card details sheet says transplant specialty pharmacy. So no one knows.
Wow.
So I'm going to go to
right
Cracker Barrel in the week off, and I'm also going to go on this scavenger hunt to give over $15. Maybe there's a prize.
I think we need an LVK off-week vlog of Lewis doing these things.
Honestly, I would like to start doing that thing because I think it would be quite funny.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if I vlog me going to a Cracker Barrel, that would be quite funny.
And listen, you and I spoke before the show started about something we could do, and I think this would be good possibilities.
I would quite happily turn LVK into a little side quest thing where we just do like things, you know, like we have a non-moto every week, and then as a result, we have to go and I don't know.
You'll be like the Tom Scott YouTube channel. You know that guy?
No.
Oh well, he's a British guy, and like every week, well, for a long time, every week he'd be in some random new place. He'd be like, "I'm in Nova Scotia this week," and just chaos.
Well, we'll do it. We'll just need to be paid.
Yep. All right. Is this our show? Are we done?
Yep. Well done,
right.
everyone.
Fantastic. Thanks to Liat, Race Tech Nomura, and Partzilla for backing the show. We will be back next week with an SMX preview show. So we are not going to take an off week. We are grinding through.
Are we not back next week with the super special thing?
I don't know if it's going to happen next week, but we'll see.
Let's be honest, it's probably not going to happen for like a year.
No, I think it'll happen in the off season, but I think that the person who will be involved in the super special show is a little busy next week.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But anyway,
let's be the first to break the news. There is an LVK BMP collab coming soon, but it's going to be a competition.
With special guest.
Yes, it's going to be a competition, and the special guest will be the adjudicator.
Yes. All right. Fantastic show. Appreciate everyone for tuning into the LVK More Than Moto podcast. We'll be back next week to preview the SMX playoffs and many more topics going on in the world of motocross. See you guys.